Now we have another 256 megabytes, which gives us a total of 512 megabytes. So this system has 512 megabytes of random access memory, like I said, which is responsible for volatile temporary storage of information. Also on the motherboard, you have your PCI, peripheral component interconnect. You have your PCI slots. As we can see, this is more or less like a micro ATX form factor. It's small, rectangular shaped, so that's what it appears to be. We have our serial ATA ports, which, as I said before, we have a hard drive that's serial ATA, so we make use of these ports to support the hard drive. We have here our CMOS battery, which is responsible for maintaining the configurations that's set in the BIOS and the basic input-output system. And we have our PCI Express slot. PCI Express is rather cutting-edge technology, recent technology, so that gives us some high-end graphics. And we have our sound ports, our network port, our USB ports, Universal Serious Bus, USB, which is extremely common and extremely popular. Technology's been out for a while, and now they have the USB 2.0, which is the fastest, operating at 480 megabits per second. We have our VGA port, which provides the video output, but being that we have a graphics card, we actually will not utilize this port. We will utilize the technology provided by the graphics card, which I had shown you previously. We also have our PS2 ports, which is for mouse and keyboard. And we have here our memory slots. And finally, we have our CPU fan. This big fan here is responsible for keeping the CPU, the central processing unit. It's responsible for keeping it cool because the central processing unit generates a whole lot of heat. So I'm going to take this off and show you what the actual processor looks like. And after that, we'll go ahead and reassemble the system. So it just has a simple panel that just swings right off there to make it easy. Go ahead and push that out. And it comes right off. Now, as you notice, we had a bit of a challenge getting it off because it has what you call thermal paste that basically helps out with the whole cooling process and ensures that the CPU fan adheres to the actual processor. So here you have the CPU, the central processing unit. The device seems rather small, but this is the most powerful device in the computer. This is actually the brain of the computer. All of the various arithmetic and all of the various processes and functions are carried out by this CPU. So just as you have a brain that enables you to move and to think and to operate, this in itself could be considered the brain of the actual computer. So I'll go ahead and take it out and show you what it looks like. In order to take it out, we go ahead and we adjust this lever and bring it forth. And we go ahead and remove it from the actual socket. So here we have the central processing unit. I'll go ahead and give you a closer look at that. You have to be very careful to ensure that none of the pins are bent. So as we can see, this here is the brain of the computer. Go ahead and put this back in and start reassembling the system. And we have to ensure that it's put in properly, it's keyed, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue. So just go ahead and apply pressure to make sure it's in there securely and put the lever back down. That takes care of that. I have thermal paste. See if I can move a little bit of that. Now let's go ahead and start reassembling.
This one's really good at my stuff. I haven't charged it for that today. Well, this is better. This one's before.
Okay, so that's back in there. Go ahead and put my memory back in there. Make sure that it's lined up. The memory's keyed, so it has an actual slot that enables you to ensure that it's properly installed in the right direction. So you just push down firmly on one end as it locks into place, and then you go ahead and push down on the other end. And that's how you install memories. Just put in the other one the same way. Now let's start the reassembling process. Tore it down, so it's time to build it back up. Make sure that all our screws are in a secure location so we can easily access them. Just make sure that the CPU fan is plugged in.